joining us. We are back with TLKinfamous. My name is Socially. We got Saint here. We got Swervo. And we got Steph from TufTalk podcast.
That's a fact. Thank y'all for having us.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Appreciate y'all.
Long overdue. How y'all feeling?
Pretty good, can't lie. Happy to be here. Word. Ain't see y'all in mad long, you know what I'm saying? So we finally get to put it together. Word.
I agree.
So what y'all been up to?
A lot.
As far as I guess we can get into like the podcast stuff, like where you guys been at with that as of late, and tell them a little bit about your podcast.
So basically, yeah, if you guys don't know, we got a YouTube channel called TufTalk TV, and we run a podcast on there called TufTalk Podcast. And basically, we've been doing that since 2019?
Yeah.
2019 or whatnot until like now. It's just recently kind of like things has been going on with like me individually, him individually. Right. We kind of like been like slowing up. And honestly speaking, we kind of came to a conclusion, going through like the whole process and experience of having a podcast of like we're gonna try to like kind of pivot a little more to doing other types of content. And with the podcast we're gonna keep going with it obviously, but it's not gonna be as consistent. And if we do, it's gonna be more like guest based. Like when we have our guests up or whatnot, that's when we're really gonna like drop more episodes and stuff like that, but not really do it on a weekly consistent basis.
I think that's the cool thing about having a podcast. It's like the flexibility that you can have with it. And you can just always do your own thing. Right. Especially when it's content creating. Like you can just always making your own thing. And if you have good content, your audience will follow it depending on how you choose to like schedule it out and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's a fact. Like Steph could attest to this as well. Like really like with having a podcast in general, the main thing that's kind of hard to do, I guess you guys will know this as well, is probably like just being consistent. Yeah. Like having topics. If you're doing like a weekly podcast, having topics every week or whatnot to come up with, depending on what your podcast is about, could be kind of a struggle or whatnot. But it's honestly, it's fun. You know what I'm saying? You enjoy the process, the hardships and the positive parts of it, but definitely, it's a way to express yourself, especially nowadays. A lot of people having podcasts. You see so much on YouTube and on other platforms and stuff like that. It's dope,
Before we get to the podcasting, I know you guys are like longtime best friends, right?
Yeah.
All right. So like,
best friends is crazy. Best friends is that crazy. I ain't gonna.
Wait, hold on.
We go brothers.
All right. You're right.
Best friends.
Right.
Best friends that don't associate with like a male. Like it gotta be a girl.
But really though,
won't get canceled for saying that.
Nah, look. I'm gonna break it down, right? Because I said this to him and a couple of our other, like we had like a little, y'all know in high school we had like a little clique of us, like men or whatever that was together. We came through high school together or whatnot and remained like brothers throughout. And me personally, I don't believe in using like the word friend. I believe in like having family or associates or whatnot. Because for me, I don't like having meaningless relationships. So if you're not a brother or a sister or whatnot, or some type of family to me or whatever, I'ma just consider you an associate. The word friend, the suffix of the word friend is end. So to me or whatnot, when you have a friend or whatnot, it's like yeah, like it's like you have an expiration date on that relationship or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes
I like that. Yeah. I have also always been like uncomfortable with the word friend,
right?
Because I feel like you said, it's either your family or I just know of you.
Yeah,
an associate.
Yeah, you very secure with that. Like, whoa. Carly, social,
but it's crazy. I never like me. I used to get a lot of not conscious. Like it wasn't like a thing. People used to see I used to get uncomfortable with it. And for me, I never really understood because I was like young. But I think for me, it never sat well. But as I matured and got older, I realized it was something valid to it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Definitely like confirmation or whatnot, affirmation. Like for me it was because I used to feel the same way. Like I never understood why I wasn't able to like just connect with everybody. Like in high school when you young or whatever, you got people who just are like popular with everybody, able to connect with everybody. For me, I was never like that. Even like as a kid or whatever, it was only like if I peep one person or a couple people or whatever, we're equally minded, or we can feed off each other in a type of way, or have a deep connection. I value those relationships more. Right. And it was always a thing where it was like, you're not my friend, you my bro, you my brother, type of thing.
I think that word friend too is like it's a thing that they condition us to like use so loosely too.
Exactly.
A lot of times the friendship that we make is because of proximities, like school and work.
Yeah, that's facts.
Like, y'all don't really.
Because I do not talk to a lot of people, bro. Like that's facts.
But sorry, let's go back to the
Wait,
the bro
so
shit.
Back on the bro shit. Thank you. The brotherly love. So you guys had a long relationship. What made you feel like comfortable to embark on a podcast? Like, because at this point, a podcast is also a business, and that's, you know, mixing business with family can always be, you know, it can a little bit, you know, you have your trials and tribulations. Yeah. What made y'all want to do that?
Go ahead.
what year did y'all start, by the way?
2019. Yeah, in 2018. End of 2018, beginning of 2019. It took us a while to get things together. I'm gonna just say on it because I'm gonna let him speak on it. But it was like we all had a meeting, like 4 little brothers of ours. We had a meeting or whatnot at one of our friends' houses or whatnot, and we was because we all like a very like creative people. Like we was into like acting and all that stuff, cameras. So it was kind of my idea to come up with a podcast because I was very much influenced by like the Joe Budden podcast that became very popular back then. In 2018, 2019, I was watching a lot of that. The Noriega podcast as well. I was a big fan of them, and I was like, "Yo, me and my friends have these competitions all the time. Why not?" So that was where I came from with it.
Yeah, I agree. That's yeah. Because
what is it about YouTube that worked out with the group?
Oh,
I was seeing more eye to eye on things.
I would say that. Yeah, I would say that more eye to eye because like I'm gonna keep it a stack. Like the reason why I want to do it is because I just wanted to like make money. Like. You know what I mean? It wasn't really like I wanted to do it on YouTube. It really didn't matter what platform it was. I just wanted to make money with my brothers. So we, like you said, came up with the group. I mean, not with the group. We was talking in the group and just in the third. And he came up with the idea. I came up with the name.
That's a fact.
Yeah, because I remember all of that.
That's
and we just all like brainstorming. Like, oh yeah, what we want to do? You want to talk? Then we already talk now.
Yeah.
Why not talk on the? You know what I mean? But we realized. It's not like that.
It doesn't mesh well.
Nah, it doesn't. Like just like being my brother, like and coming on the platform, like you said, is a business.
Yeah.
You feel me? So it gotta be like business orientated. It gotta be organized. You gotta have topics. You know what I mean? Like
100%.
time frame. I was just talking to him about this in the car. Like it's not just running your mouth for 6 hours about nothing. Like
when we first came with this, I'm like, because it was third representative, the third co-host that was on this. T Devon, shout out to T Devon.
Yes, shout out.
And
that's crazy.
We basically used to have conversations at work all the time. Me and Kyle used to chop it up. So I'm like, yeah, let's record. But then when we actually started doing it, we like, wait.
Yeah, it's mad work.
I was like, wait, hold on, I gotta do my homework.
It's more work too when you have different people because it's like schedules and everyone needs to have flexibility, and then also people have personal lives. So and then we're all human, so like your emotions may get intertwined and everything. So it's like you have to level all that out.
Did you ever feel like, not to get messy, but did you ever feel like one person did you ever feel like one person prioritized the podcast than the other?
Of course.
Yes.
Who was it? I'm just kidding.
I'm not gonna lie.
You go ahead.
All right, so look, when we first started or whatnot, I'm not gonna lie. In the beginning, it was more so like, because we also had a third co-host, and that's my brother for life. Like I'm saying, we love him still, even though we're not like on, like we all talk or whatever still, but it's not like how it used to be, obviously, because we all older, we all grow, stuff like that. But at the time, it was so many conflicting ideas when we first started, and things that we wanted to do, and everybody had their own individual idea of how they felt things should be done. And sometimes when you don't get your own way, somebody can be like, oh, for whatever reason, it could be that or anything else, they may like fall back because of other priorities they have in their life or whatever, or things that they trying to do or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And for me, it was more so understanding. Like, it was like, all right, okay, boom, this person not moving like that or whatever. I'm trying to like really have a commitment to this, even though all of our schedules or whatever can conflict and other things like that. Like you said. So it definitely is a challenge or whatnot. I think it's just about maturity, having somebody in the group or whatever to like kind of be like, all right, boom, let's calm the argument down and let's really, because this is not nothing personal. This is all just something that we doing on our personal time.
I learned working in a group there has to be a Beyonce.
Exactly.
And sometimes Beyonce changes depending on the group, especially if you're a duo.
You're right.
It gets Chloe and Haley sometimes. But being a group, like you said, because like you said, especially where there's so many conflicting ideas and stuff like that, the direction of the project could go so many ways. There has to be that one person be like, no, like we have to all stay on one course.
Exactly.
On one, and sometimes the leadership does change in the dynamic of the group.
And you absolutely right, because and I was like, right when you were saying this, this shot into my head because I kind of be forgetting things or whatever. But in the beginning, our third co-host Divine, he was like kind of the one that was more like on it than both of us, because he was the one who had the responsibility of editing and all that other stuff, and that's also another challenging thing when it comes to this, like the camera stuff, editing, sound stuff, all that at work. And then it became Stefan, because after like our other co-host, his name was Divine, he was like, oh yeah, you know what I'm saying, I'm tired of doing this all the time, somebody else gotta help, and Stefan kind of took over that role. And then he became more kind of focused on it because he's the person that's in with it. And then once he stopped doing it and I got my stuff together and I started doing it, it's kind of like I became like the one that was more ambitious with it, coming up with the ideas. Even in now. And but my thing is like I could be mad about it or whatever, or I could just be like, this is my role or whatever right now, and I have to accept responsibility, and I have to either hold him accountable or keep moving on my own type of thing.
And until the point you guys, are able to invest the money to like have the money to outsource other things like editing. Like, right. But at the time being, like, it does have to like fluctuate sometimes, the leadership roles. And sometimes, you may not want to do it, but it has to get done. Yeah.
But one thing that I said, I think that like helped me doing it, and it's still gonna get annoying because obviously everything is tedious. And I like how my son Kobe Bean Bryant, he said this. He was like, basically like if your passion or whatnot gets tedious, it doesn't get tedious or whatever, or it doesn't get like, hard at some point, that means you're not going hard enough or whatnot, what you want to do. If you really want to do this, whether it's podcasting or content creation, anything you want to do, you got to kind of accept the challenge and I guess find fun in it and push yourself in those moments when you do feel tired or you do feel like, oh, I'm tired of doing this stuff or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
I think for me, when it comes to the editing thing, I feel like it's getting more fun. I feel like there's certain things that we just need to like, when it comes to like the camera angles and stuff like that, and the lighting, that's the thing that's frustrating. But when it comes to editing it now, I feel like once I started to really like the shots that we take and stuff like that, then like when I'm doing it in the motion, even though it is tedious, especially when I pull like the images together, like there's certain episodes where we have images together, and I'm like, okay, I love the outcome of it. Yeah. So I'm still trying to get better with that. But my question to you guys, because you guys started like 2018, 19, but then we started around the same time, right? Or was it 20?
We started, I think, during COVID.
Yeah. So I feel like it's crazy because I feel like at that time I think I've seen podcasts, but I feel like during the same time, it was afterwards, then you started seeing the influx of podcasts.
A lot.
Like, feeling like to see like, oh shit, like you was on the brink of it, or like, now it's kind of like, damn,
everybody doing it.
Everybody,
everybody doing it.
I would say, I say it's cool. There's a lot of people talking up about different topics, this, that, and the third, but I ain't gonna lie, bro. It's just getting like repetitive at this point. It's literally like, it's either what women want, what men want, what men want out of women, what women don't understand about the man, who needs the money, who's a leader, and that's it. Like it don't be nothing else. Like, it don't be about like politics or anything that talks about like health. Or anything like that.
The reels and the highlighters are the reels and the things that be highlighted.
Right.
Instagram are those.
They're being pushed on the algorithm more than that.
But also, I was going to say, my mom was telling me the other day, she was like, listen, you get stuck in your own algorithm. So whatever you started watching, that's your own algorithm. You thinking everybody agreeing with what you're saying, but no. The internet is agreeing with what you saying, just the internet. And I was like, oh wow, like
they be pushing stuff towards you.
And that's the crazy thing, because I was learning like our algorithm is very important in AI, because algorithms are very important, especially when we're advancing in AI and stuff like that. Because like you said, you're creating your own digital world in these spaces, and we are in a time and space where our digital space is like an essential part of our world. So we have to be very mindful of the world that we create. Like you said, we create those type of bubbles for ourselves. So it's like you gotta be very selective on what you like and what you engage in, because
what
then
you share, repost, all that.
Because I would say, like, especially on TikTok, my algorithm is like crazy good. Like I have food videos, then the podcasts I do watch are literally like pop culture wise or like political stuff,
economics.
TikTok has a great algorithm. I feel like Instagram algorithm isn't so great as far as like they'll push what they want you to see.
Exactly.
Which is a lot of the messy stuff.
Go ahead.
So it's not really. It's a.
Because I would say that because Instagram, oh my god, the algorithm on there,
they do.
Boy, you put the search bar as someone getting killed. It's like it's mad ass everywhere.
Nah, all over the place. It's just y'all, because I don't see.
Yo, I'm not bugging. As soon as I click the search, a new ass again. I said, god damn.
They look practically nude on there.
Nah,
wait, hold on.
She like,
why you say that? You're bugging.
I don't see no type of ass.
What's on your algorithm?
You know they pick that shit up.
Right.
Yeah, they do. They that.
They be doing it. You be talking about KFC. Next thing you know, a KFC ad pop up on your phone.
Yeah, bro.
Like,
yeah. That shit is weird.
I ain't gonna lie.
This is the thing, though. I started to, like, unfollow all of the women that showed the ass. I had to unfollow them. Now I'm looking at guys who's like motivational speakers and this and the third. So now they pop up on my algorithm now. But I just stopped being on social media, like, in general. I'm gonna keep it a stack with you.
That could go into our next question. So like, being that this is a platform, this platform that we have is something that requires us to have like a relationship with social media. Like, how have you guys been able to maintain that relationship? Like, how's that?
That's a good point.
That's a little bit.
Because you guys are not even that I don't see y'all post that much on social media, but y'all do have a podcast.
I be posting. I ain't gonna lie.
He posts. I just backed off because I remember a time when I just would post all the time. Every day, I'm in everybody's stories. I'm always posting. And I say, I'm done with this shit.
And what changed?
It just I don't know. It just drained me. Like, social media. I was like, this shit is like.
So how y'all operate? How are y'all still trying to work towards that? Figuring that.
As far as like TufTalk,
yeah.
So like if when we post our new video, whatever, like we'll run a promotion on TufTalk.
Got you.
As far as my personal page, I probably won't post on it because I just don't.
So do you think it's important to have like your own personal like?
You say
keep your own personal page going and be influential, or you feel like it's like the podcast could just stand alone? Because I feel like the same way too. Sometimes I feel like, do I have to have some visibility in my own personal page to bring traction to the watcher? But sometimes I feel like if the podcast is good enough,
it should have its own. I agree. I think the podcast itself should build its own audience.
Yeah.
Us posting on our personal page is more like like letting our people know,
but that's
on our side, which is good. I'm not saying that it's not like good exposure. But I do believe that the
work will speak for itself.
Yeah, I think it's better for like the podcast to like post and build that fan base or support base.
I'm not gonna lie, that's why I kind of like disagree though, right? Because when we first started and stuff like that, it's like you do get your influx of fans that come from like places that you wouldn't even expect.
That's true.
But at the same time, it's like if you really want to build your following, you kind of do got to start off with your own personal page.
I've heard that too, yeah.
Yeah, because it's like...
Yeah.
Yeah, because it really don't... If you're not willing to invest no money into like really advertising your product or whatnot, because it's like they're saying, if a tree falls in a forest and nobody's there to hear it, does it really fall? Right. You can have the most banging content or whatnot and not know how to advertise or market your content. And I'm not saying that we're perfect at that either, because we still learn, going through and learning as well. But I think that if you're not willing to invest like your own money, or you're not ready to invest your own money, the best way really to start is
with your people.
Yeah, because then it's like, because a friend of a friend thing, word of mouth. And if your friends is sharing it and they're like, who's this? And they talking about it with their friends that you don't even know, it becomes a thing, And that's like me personally, when watching our algorithm, that's how I feel like our drink has like grown the most. Like on TikTok, I think it's a little easier because, like you said or whatnot, it's like people get more of what they kind of looking for, as opposed to Instagram, where you might get a little variety of different things that you might like. Like our first video that we posted on TikTok,
that shit go crazy.
That shit went like.
But TikTok, you have a good following on TikTok too, right?
But not even. When we first started that video,
it went up. Yeah.
It went up, but like when we first started,
we had 20.
It went up because of that viral.
Yeah, we had like
that viral, your followers go up.
Right, we had like 10 followers on the drink, and I remember because I created the account and I posted it. Right, I had seen that video where this random person was talking about how to like run up your TikTok followers, and I was like, I'm gonna save this for later or whatever, and see what she talking about, see if I can ever try this. And then when we had the video, because I thought that our content on that one particular public interview was like freaking dope. It was mad funny. Stefan has energy up. I had my energy up. We was both looking fly or whatever. It was a good video. We got a lot of good feedback from the people that we was interviewing and stuff like that. So I'm like, we gotta find a way to get this this drink, let it go crazy. So I was looking at the funniest clips or whatever from there that I could take, and I found one and I posted it on TikTok. At first it was like I got like a little 50 likes or whatever. But then I applied I deleted it and I reposted it, applying the knowledge that the shorty was talking about on her video, like using hashtags, posting it at a certain time of day, always replying to new comments or whatever. So literally went from like 10 followers, 20 followers to like 1,300 followers in like 2 weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
And
Dang,
it was
that's
and that
2 weeks.
the video at like what? 200K?
Nah, it's at 410,000.
400?
Yeah, bro.
That's how you know.
Wait, 410K?
Yeah, TikTok is great with
Oh,
that.
that's crazy.
I remember he texted me. He was like, "Yo, look at our TikTok." And I'm like, I said, "Wait, you can curse on it?"
Yeah.
Oh, nigga. I said, what are you talking about? Like, I didn't know we had a TikTok. And he didn't let me know.
Yeah.
And so when I looked at it, he said, yo, our shit is going crazy.
That's a fact.
I looked at the video. He's replying to every comment. Yo, yeah, that's me. Yeah, bro, yeah. Every comment. I said, damn, bro. He like, people like, oh, this man fun. Yeah, I know. Go on YouTube. Follow us. Like, I said, all right, bro. But,
you gotta do these, like,
yeah,
when
he showed me that, I was like, damn, TikTok, like, algorithm is crazy.
I'm saying, yeah,
like,
TikTok, that's like the newest, it's the newest platform. So their algorithm is definitely still great. I mean, it is building a lot more traction now, but they still are really good with the algorithm. Instagram's algorithm is in the whole. I know Facebook. I hear great things about Facebook, but I feel like Facebook. I still think
Facebook
I think Facebook for like old people.
No, but people.
It's always been like that.
People get money off of Facebook.
Nah, they do.
Live streaming and the like you said, the promo videos and stuff like that, it goes really well. Like a lot of people.
Facebook?
Yes, but I have the same mindset. Like I feel like it's like a wasteland, but no, people going up.
I feel like on Facebook, like it's like a thing of like you gotta have like a certain type of like you gotta like you said, your personal following also very much counts on Facebook as well. Because if you got a really good personal following on Facebook, then it's more likely that stuff is gonna go viral. Because you got a lot of friends, followers, people gonna see it.
Yeah,
I think it was the reason why too. Because with Facebook, you have family and friends.
Exactly.
So you get every demographic. You know. Because most likely your friends and family will post you and stuff like that, so it's different age ranges. Whereas with Instagram or TikTok, you mostly follow like friends or.
I feel like it like the oversaturation on Facebook. It's just so much content on Facebook. It's like you got to be really really good. Like it has to be really really good content for your joint to really go off. I remember like in 2014, 2015, I was a really big fan of Country Wayne.
He's still out.
Right, but this is what I'm saying. Before anybody even knew who he was, he used to have like 5,000, 10,000 likes on his videos, and every year I watched his progression of how like people was really rocking with him, and it really was all for like for me. This is what I thought it was really like from what I seen with him. He started off on Facebook, like all of his skits and all that, and now he has a huge Instagram following. So he moved a lot of his content to Instagram and stuff like that.
And now he posts all his skits on YouTube.
Yeah,
so I watch him. I watch all of them.
I forgot who Country Rain is, but I've heard of his name a few times.
He mad funny. He from like the South or something. He like from what?
Georgia, right?
Georgia, I think. Yeah. He bringing like little skits, like actual like little mini soap opera videos.
Literally. It's
opera.
actually like I ain't gonna catch you. Like the characters, like, the character development, the storylines. Like yo,
and
literally.
Well, I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you, man. I appreciate you, brother. Oh yeah, we back looking like money, yo, man.
1 second, man. Can we get a couple pictures for the Instagram?
Oh, go ahead. Take a couple on, man.
Appreciate it, man.
Go ahead. Now, I'm gonna charge you now. I ain't gonna charge you. Go ahead,
Man,
man.
I never get paid.
Yeah, go ahead, man. All right, boy. Appreciate you.
Hold on.
All right,
That's
good.
different
Now,
angles.
come on now. Yeah, it's a little enough. I think it's enough. All right, boy.
Hold on. My apologies. Hold on. Real quick. Oh man, this is dope.
That's it. Thank you, man.
One more, man.
Hey, wait a minute, brother. What you doing? You trying to put my head on this pornography?
No, I'm just trying to get it
You
straight.
trying to put my head on porn, bro?
Like I respect his joint so much because he really did it on some boss time into where a lot of the performers that were on his skits like got roles on Netflix or whatever. Other productions.
Oh wow, that's dope.
Yeah, like the guy who Mike or whatever, the boy-headed dude, like from his skits or whatever, he got an actual part in the show Stranger Things. In like the last season or whatever, and I was like, wow, that's crazy. I see him or whatever on the Country Wayne skits, and it's like to see the progression. So you never know what things could lead you to, like doing a podcast, content creation or whatever. There's so many opportunities out here,
And you feel like his brand expanded because people was following him first, and then was supporting whatever he was doing.
Exactly.
I feel like that's how it's like. I understand of us just trying to have a TLK page and just make that sustainable in itself, because sometimes you want to take a break from our personal Instagrams, but I do see that when you're a little bit more interactive with your personal Instagram, people can be like, okay, great, I want to see what she's up to or what he's up to.
Right.
And it just brings them in. I wanted to know, like, how did you come up with like some of the content? Because you guys have done street interviews, you guys did reaction videos, y'all did all sorts of things. So y'all did interviews as well.
Appreciate you for watching too. Yeah, facts.
Yeah. So what made you gravitate to those different contents?
Shit, I think.
Go ahead.
I think I'm the one that spoke to you about the public interviews, right?
Yeah,
because you told me about the reactions.
Yeah, we both was like, cause like I said before, we both was watching like YouTube heavy or whatever during the time. And our other co-host too at the time, Devon, we all three of us was watching YouTube. So, and our thing was not like, oh, we're gonna just do a podcast and that's gonna be like our main focus. We wanted to do anything revolving around content creation because that was our main thing. Like our friend Devon or whatever, who's they know the people who listen and know. He was the first person to kind of really get into the camera stuff in general. We were just more like, we are actors or whatever. We entertainers. We do like comedy stuff. We just like regular people, you know what I'm saying, doing like regular content. He's the one that kind of got us on the behind the scenes thing of doing different types of content. So when he opened that kind of door for us or whatever, it was like, almost like Pandora's box being open, seeing all the different content on YouTube. And he brought up the like you said, public interviews.
Yeah. Games, like, cause I watch all the YouTubers, right? So I know all of them. So I'm like, yo, let's do that. Mm-hmm. Get in that field, cause I didn't want to be like boxed in a podcast.
Yeah, that's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
our thing is literally like we're more than just a podcast.
Right. Yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to just be just that.
But I think that's the beauty of a podcast because like a podcast is literally you just kind of expressing your ideas, and when people see your ideas, they feed more into whatever you want to create. You know what I mean? So you could run it into like doing like skits, or probably if you want to do fashion, you could wear your fashion piece on.
Right.
So it's like a way of you branding yourself outside of your podcast itself.
It's so much like different things you could do on YouTube. It's like, or just in general, is when it comes to content creation, it's crazy. Like the thing about like mukbangs or whatever, like those are like really big.
I think like one of them, like you said, like one of like the opportunities, because like the lady named B Love, she's like one of the most popular ones.
That's the one who I started with.
Now she got her own sauce brand that she sells and stuff like that.
Who said her name? B Love.
Remember the lady I showed you, her sons and all that. She be doing a lobster mukbang.
Oh, the lobster one. Yeah. I'm thinking B Love the rapper.
Nah.
What's her name? Is her name?
Yeah. She be doing a little slogan on her channel. What's up, my beloved? She mad.
The whole song.
I was watching that shit when she first began. I was watching.
Wait, so based on your data, you know which one get the most views and stuff.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So based on like the data, right? Because you guys know what you guys want to do, but then you also have data that's telling you this is what the people like.
This is what you should do.
What is your answer towards that? Because I know what my guests like. You watch your data, you know what your guests like, but then your stuff that you want to do, how do you try to like, all right, I need to feed them what they want so I can hold their attention, but also I want to do something different.
I would say for us, I don't think it was challenging or nothing like that. I just think like knowing that people are watching and we have like an audience to watch that particular like video or those type of videos, is good to put out. But showing like that we're like versatile, they like that too, because it's like after a while, if you do it for a long time, like, all right, this shit getting boring. Like, what else do you do, bro? Like, we know that you do mukbangs if that was the case, or we know that you do public interviews all day. Right. What about your personal life? And it brings like a different audience. Like even the people that was watching like those particular videos, they want to watch you do other things. It's like you said about the personal like page and stuff.
Yeah,
they want to see like, they're like, oh, what else is she doing?
And you guys, I see some of your interviews. Y'all do disclose some information about yourself. What is the boundary? Because I know some people, they'll share everything, you know, and that's fine too, because now you're getting that intimate side. You kind of know the trials and tribulations. What is like your opinion on that? Do you feel comfortable with sharing information, or is there sometimes where you be like, nah, they don't need to hear that, you know?
Nah, it's definitely times where you be like, nah, they don't need to hear that. Because like, that's why before we even like we have guests on, we always have a conversation like the night before with the guests. Like, all right, boom, this is what we're gonna talk about. This is what we want you to bring to the table, because we don't just like bring up random people. Like we just try to. A lot of them are people that we know, but we try to bring in people or whatever that have things going on with themselves, so that we could talk about what they got going on, if they want to promote themselves on our platform, in the process of like, talking about whatever topics we discussing for that day. That's really what it is. But when we have certain topics, we try our best to stick to those topics or whatnot. And we always ask the guests like, oh, do you feel comfortable talking about this and that? Boom, if they say no, we pivot and do something else. And if they say yeah, we just rock out and let them know what we comfortable talking about. Like, oh, boom, if we know you, don't be saying this or whatever on there. Or if they do make a mistake,
that's respect though.
Right, we just go back and we'll edit it out or whatever they said that might have been kind of crazy or whatever.
But what was you talking about, like the podcast? I mean, the public interviews?
Just in general. When you have your podcasts, it's like
right. Right. I agree. But as far as like public interviews and stuff like that, that's another thing. I'm not trying to disclose everything, because people be bugging like with information, especially like
Yeah, people be
like
trying to find
like what we was
like high school you went to.
Yeah, they be trying to. It's very weird. Like people weird. So like,
wait, people trying to ask you like
questions?
Nah. But say for example, like your fans in the comments, so people not but your audience in the comments or whatever, supporters. Say for example, for whatever reason. It can be anything. I'm just gonna cite this example. If they for whatever reason don't like what you said and they try to get into it with you on
they start asking questions like where you live, what side of Queens?
Yeah, right.
It's crazy because like the more you put yourself out on this platform or like cause I used to remember Bigo, so I used to stream on there. That's like a live streaming thing.
Hold on,
you ain't gotta tell me. I
Let me ask you a question though.
Bigo live.
I should even ask you to Kim. I'm ask you when did you start using Bigo and who put you on the Bigo?
So this was like. It was for COVID, and I think I found out through Ciara. Yeah. I found out through Ciara because then she told you about it, right. So I thought I was learning about it through there. But also I felt like So then I got immersed in it, and I wouldn't go live too often. But I used to go live, and sometimes when I would live, I would do numbers. But I realized, like you said, like it's kind of like experience fame in a sense, because these people do get like. They do get like attached to you and they want to know things. It is kind of uncomfortable. Yeah. But you also see now you can see how like people who are in these positions of fame how they feel because it is kind of weird because it's like on one end, especially if they are supporting you, whether it's supporting your podcast or if you stream and they send you gifts, you feel like you got to remind yourself, wait, hold on, I'm not entitled to you.
That's a fact.
Right.
Here. Yeah. But on one end, you also don't want to be rude.
Yeah.
But so it is a kind of weird balance, and I feel like we only kind of experience like the brink of it. So it's like I wonder like how, but I think also it goes back to your mentality. I feel like that's why it's very important that you are mentally strong.
That's a fact.
When you're in the position because you can find yourself sacrificing or disclosing or constantly giving because you feel like shit I'm entitled to these people when in fact you're not.
Right. Like let me give you an example. We got a video on our channel.
You want the rest of this?
Like go ahead, take it.
This is done. This is done.
Right. It's funny as heck, right? Because we did a video where we reacted to like this like Caribbean song that DJ Khaled made with Buju Banton and Barrington Levy and all these people, right? So I have a West Indian background. Stephon does not. So basically, like it was a lot of things that I was messing up too, like saying things that were not correct or whatever about like Caribbean culture. He was saying like a lot of like things that could be deemed as ignorant or whatever. As people in the comments was going crazy, like, like you disrespecting the culture.
It was wilding on me. Calling me a Yankee.
Yeah, you feel me? Going crazy.
Which camera I'm looking at? That one. I know who you are. I will find you because Yankee is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, that video was like going, I would say viral a little bit, right? But the comments is crazy. Like, you read it like, they're like, oh, and especially you, if you from the culture or Caribbean, how could you say this? And I'm like, bro, relax the video. Like,
you would say just too much stuff personal.
Yeah, you feel what I'm saying?
And you might get a little entitled and say, yo, listen, I'm gonna keep it a stat. Like, bro, watch your mouth in this conversation. Yeah, you ready to go crazy.
He had to tell me, he was like, yo, bro, like, because he had experiences, because he had a channel before or whatever, so he was telling me, like, boom, like, bro, it's always gonna be negative and positive comments or whatever. So,
I had to, right.
So giving your energy or whatnot to pointless things or whatever, or letting people get to you or whatever, like whether it's by like personally attacking you or saying things negatively about your content or whatnot, you got to be careful not to engage. You find yourself giving up pieces of yourself that you should keep private,
right?
Personal.
And that's crazy because I'm learning like along the podcast, especially when as in this age of podcasts is all over. I'm learning like the importance of listening, even when I do my own podcast. Like you don't always have to.
Listen to respond.
Right. Like sometimes you could just like listen, like especially when we have guests, like guests on, we love to have interviews where we allow the interviewee to have the stage, just really try to listen. But I'm learning that along the way. It's hard to be mindful of listening. And also it is kind of hard coming back to what you said as far as like when it comes to like coming up with topics, because especially when you're working with somebody and also you have a personal life where you have to really actually pay and do other things and pay bills and whatever the case may be. You may want to do a topic, but the research that's required for it is difficult, so you don't want to go on the podcast and start rambling and start talking at the ass and then
that used to be me. I ain't gonna
lie. I understand the frustration with certain people because at the end you do have a platform and you have to be very cautious and mindful of what you're saying and be very careful. Don't be ignorant. I think even when we do kind of talk on heavy topics, we try to not talk about it like we know it. place of curiosity.
I'm laughing because somebody had. I know you listening. Somebody had came to me and said, "What you said about healing don't make no sense." And he didn't say it in that type of context, but I had to go listen back to what I said, and it didn't make sense.
We be wrong.
But you know what it is? I knew what I was trying to say, but the thing is, when it comes to podcasting, you want to deliver your words in a clear and concise way that because you're not gonna have time to over elaborate. You know?
That's so funny. Yeah,
speaker in general. That's
exactly.
You have to be ready. You got to be very. Like when you think about like people like Malcolm X or like I like Amanda Seales, like or some of the other great podcasters who've been here for like a long time, or like this like people who just been in journalism in the game for a long time. You realize like this is a craft, like
yeah.
And I think that's kind of the problem with the podcast is like everyone just having.
That's why I said that's what I was saying in the beginning. People are just coming up on here and just saying anything at this point. No research, just saying shit. Yeah. Because we had that problem too.
Some of it is funny, but some of it is like annoying.
Right. Annoying. Like we had that conversation with you just saying like, cause we would check each other like, yo, bro, I'm keeping sad. What you said, that shit made no sense, bro. Run it back. Yeah, run that shit back. Run that shit back.
Cut that part out.
Yeah, cut that shit out, bro. Like, when he would be editing our call, but yo, bro, you check the video. Listen, delete it all. Yeah, delete the whole thing. The whole thing. Put it on archive. Cause
we gonna see on private view.
Yeah, right. Because it would be stuff we'd be saying. We'd be like, nah, we wild. For saying that.
And I was like, it's crazy because I used to be conflicted with that. I used to be like, no, it's real and authentic, but it's
right, like, yeah. That's how
like now you're maturing, and I think a lot of people do that because they think it's being real and authentic and most ignorant, and they know people get clickbait. But I feel like when you have integrity about the things that you do, you have to be like, hey, you know what? Maybe you need to cut that out.
Yeah, I need to. I'm wild.
Yeah.
Like as it pertains to time and stuff like that or whatnot, like we used to go over all the time when it would be the same conversation we would have with our engineer Miles. Like, yo, is it somebody book after? Yeah, shout out to Miles. That was my guy. Yeah. We'd be like, yo, bro, just book another hour or whatever. Whoop. Yeah. Epic. Like, you know what I'm saying? Take the time because we wanted to like, do things correctly or whatnot. Right. But you could always like whenever we run into problems like that, we will always have a part 2. Like we did that.
We did that a couple of times. So we can definitely do a part 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, that's a fact.
2, 4, 5.
8, 9.
We gotta come back and show love, and I would love to talk to y'all about like the healing stuff as well. Like a lot of things y'all talk about the political stuff because y'all know I'm on that. Yeah.
And one more thing, because I definitely think because it kind of ties back to like sometimes I'm learning like in this space you have to take accountability. So like you said, sometimes even if it is coming back on the next episode, I'm like, hey, listen. I said this, or let me just clarify. It's okay to do that as well.
You know what? Speaking of, let me clarify on the hit. I just want to do a fast round real quick. Who's one of your favorite podcasters out, or even just speakers? They don't have to be a podcaster.
Fresh and Fit for me.
Fresh and Fit.
Keenan and Duval, and I will also $1 million worth of game.
Oh yeah.
Wait. What was the last one?
$1 million worth of game and Keenan and Duval. That's how you said it. Kadeem and Duval.
Kadeem and Duval. Yeah.
Kadeem and Duval. Part of
$1 million worth of game.
What about you?
I literally just started getting into I've been into Drink Champs, but I'll get more heavily into it. Yeah, I love it. Drink Champs. Don't Call Me White Girl, of course. Amanda Seales, Small Doses. And one more.
I ain't say your top 10.
I'm sorry, I just have so many.
I meant to say one person. I meant to say one group. Poor Minds. I don't know.
I like Poor Minds.
Yeah, I like
with them, but I like them.
And I want to shout out what's her name? One of our good friends, Darlene, her podcast. King Cycles, amazing podcast. Shout out to her.
Yes.
Listen, I want to thank Swervo. Shout out your Instagram.
King Swerve the One. You heard?
Got Stefan.
You're not getting it.
But shout out y'all.
But TufTalk, go ahead.
TufTalk TV, man. Look that up on YouTube. We also have the Instagram channel and the TikTok. Go check out our TikTok. A lot of funny videos on there. We appreciate TLKinfamous for having us.
Thank you. One last question because I had to throw this in there. I know you guys you guys are taking a brief break with the podcast, and at the moment, when I say brief, what is one thing you're working on for your body, mind, and spirit during this break?
That's deep.
Cleansing, detoxifying my body, and mentally becoming better, learning more knowledge.
I'll say working out, being more disciplined, stop procrastinating, and being focused. Oh, stepping into my masculinity. Because I'm tired of being a feminine man.
What about you, Saint?
It's crazy.
growing his hair out.
Yeah, growing my hair.
You're setting boundaries.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, we are definitely going to have a part 2 for this, but I just want to say thank you again for joining us. Check out their TufTalk podcast on YouTube and Instagram. Yeah, stay tuned for more. Follow us on Instagram, YouTube, TLKinfamous. Peace.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
That's a fact.